What's good, YouTube? Gunner here, and welcome to the channel. So before we get started, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that way you know when I drop a new video. Alright, so as you can see on screen and through the title, this is going to be a Traptrix deck profile within Master Duel. So we're going to get a couple of things out of the way first. The deck is not built perfectly how I personally would build it if we were able to play multiple games within a match, right? So I personally have a lot of experience with the deck. I actually just yesterday won a local tournament with Traptrix. I was playing decks like Unchained. I played against Purely. I played against another Dino guy. The deck is actually really strong in a rogue format, but also can play really well against some of the top meta decks depending on how your side decking goes. But unfortunately we can't do that within Master Duel. So the build you see in front of you is kind of, built towards being able to go first or second depending on, if whether or not you win the dice roll, or I guess in this game a coin flip. So there are a couple of cards that I personally wouldn't actually main deck in real life, but in Master Duel we have to play a little bit differently. Alright, so let's get into the deck profile. Alright, so we're starting off with 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Obviously a generic hand trap, one of the best hand traps in the game. Obviously you can see within deck profile I'm not playing Maxi. Honestly, for me that's a personal choice. You can definitely play Maxi. There's definitely a couple cards you can take out. Throw Maxi in. It is honestly the best hand trap in the game. It's a it's a warping card. So maybe I'm dumb for not playing it, but it's just my personal preference. I don't like Maxi, therefore I'm not gonna contribute to building decks that play the card. Yeah, I might lose because you don't play it. It's going to be a harder road to hit higher tiers within ranked. But maybe, maybe I'm an elitist in that way. 3 copies of Mermelio. Obviously, this is your starter card. It gives you the ability to add a normal hole trap from deck to hand as its normal summon, but then it has a second effect when it's special summoned. It has a mandatory effect that will proc. Even if your opponent doesn't have a spell or trap, it's still always going to activate to target a card in the back row or a field spell and destroy it on your opponent's side of the field. So it's a really awesome card. Within this deck you're actually able to loop it 2 to 3 times in a turn depending on what your field might look like. But it's a really cool starter card. Here we're playing 2 copies of Dionea. A very powerful card. Some people do play Dionea at 3, but I personally like it at 2. So the on summon effect is you summon this card and then you can target a Traptrix monster in the graveyard and special summon it in defense position. So it's not always a bad normal summon, but ideally you don't want to open it. And then it has a special summon effect where when it's special summoned you can target a Traptrix hole in the grave and set it to the field. So it's very nice. That's probably your ideal effect from Dionea that you want to use. Here we got 3 copies of a Traptrix Mantis. On normal summon it gives you the ability to add any Traptrix monster from deck to hand, so very nice. And then its special summon effect, or sorry, actually it doesn't have special summon effect. Sorry, it's quick effect. Its quick effect allows you to target a set spell or trap you control, return it to the hand, and then you have an optional effect whether or not you want to set a card or multiple cards off of that. Now the nice thing that you want to use when using Mantis is keep in mind that if you special summon Dionea and you set a trap off of her effect, on the end phase of your next turn, that trap will be banished. So a nice play to do is find a way to use Dionea. You can target anything. You can target Floodgate, set Floodgate, and then if you're able to do it within the next turn or your next turn after that, find a way to special summon Mantis or even normal summon, and just use the quick effect to target your floodgate that was set, bounce it back to your hand, and then if you reset it, it won't get banished anymore. So that's a nice little trick to be able to get around Diana's effect to banish your whole trap. Here we got 3 copies of Pudica. Honestly, this card is absolutely amazing. I freaking love this card. I love opening the card. I love being able to normal summon and get the field spell, because the field spell is absolutely great for the deck, which is why it makes this normal summon so much stronger. And then it actually has a second effect where if it's special summoned, you can target a special summoned monster your opponent controls and banish it until the next standby phase, which is very nice. It's able to open up the field, and you could be able to OTK your opponent from that. So very, very nice. I absolutely love Pudica. And then here we got 2 copies of Traptrix Arachnacampa. Some people do play it at 3. I don't see why you wouldn't play. I mean, for me personally, I only play 2, but like, you won't get an argument from me for playing 3, because the card is really, really powerful. But for me personally, I see it more as an extender. Yeah, I mean, 2 to 3, easy money. You're never gonna be disappointed. It has a quick effect where it special summons yourself, and then it protects your back row, but you're only your set back row once that turn. So sometimes you may have some cards in the back row but also have your field spell up. If somebody activates Lightning Storm or activates Duster and go for your back row, your field spell will be destroyed, but Arachnacampa will protect the others. So sometimes it's nice just to even hold Arachnacampa in hand, whether or not your opponent knows if you added it or if you just hard drew it. It's nice to keep it as a hand trap, essentially, because if your opponent doesn't know that you have it, because sometimes some people are just going to play around it. They're going to know, okay, you know what, he has Arachnacampa, I'm not even going to waste the, my Duster, Lightning Storm, whatever. But if your opponent doesn't know that you have it, you can easily just chain it and protect. So it's definitely nice. So on to the next card, we have 3 copies of Parallel Exceed. I've seen some people play it only at 2, which honestly I can understand why people play it at 2. Sometimes drawing 2 is a little bit of a unfortunate, but for me, you want more consistency. This is a consistency card, and an extender, obviously. So basically what it does is when you link summon, it has a trigger effect in hand where it's going to activate to special summon itself, and then once it's special summoned, it activates the effect where it can special summon another copy of Parallel Exceed, hits the field, and they are both considered to be level 4s. That way you can go into a generic rank 4 play. So a very nice Parallel Exceed is a very, very nice card. Here I got the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, just for back row stuff. Also Konami, obviously the algorithm favors you drawing your 1-ofs. Everybody know what it feels like to draw your multiple 1-ofs in the deck, which is unfortunate. So if that's gonna happen to me, I'm gonna make sure it's gonna be at least somewhat of a power spell. It's not always the best card to draw, but sometimes Konami will give you that pat on the shoulder and let you destroy the Labyrinth player. Then here I got 2 copies of Lightning Storm. Same reason, destroy back row, but also because this is a trap deck, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to go second against. So if you're going second against your opponent, unfortunately, at least Lightning Storm could potentially knock off a couple of your opponent's cards, or at least force some kind of a negate. So yeah, it's the reasoning for me playing 2. Some people would just replace this with like Raigeki or something, just because it's more of a monster, boom hit monsters. But for me, I personally like it just because it's your ability to hit both attack position monsters and back row. So for me, it's more the versatility behind the card. But yeah, here we got the 1 copy of Prosperity. Unfortunately, it's not at 3 anymore. Thank you, Flawanderies, for killing this card. But But yeah, I mean, it's a power one of. You want the one of, so you know, obviously it's a starter. It's a you know, it could be an extender. Um, you know, it'll help you dig through your deck to get what you need. So you know, that's definitely a mandatory card in my opinion. Got 2 copies of Traptrix Garden. I love this card, hence why I'm running it at 2. A lot of people do only play it at 1, but if it gets Cosmic Cycloned or you know, or your Putica gets ashed or something, or impermed, you know, you don't get the access to the field spell. In my opinion, I'm okay with drawing this card. That's why it's at 2. If it gets popped or cycloned, I'll have another one. So for me personally, playing 2 is what I really like. But basically, what the card does, it gives you an extra normal summon, and then the first time each of your insect or plant monsters you control will be destroyed by battle, the first time it won't be destroyed, and then it has another effect where you can banish 1 card you control, and you can special summon a Traptrix monster from the graveyard. So it's very nice. Like if you got Nibiru'd, you're able to banish the token and then continue to play. So it's a really nice card. I definitely wouldn't play any less than 2. And then some of our one-ofs of the trap holes, we have Bottomless Trap Hole. It's a little bit niche. So it's basically when your opponent summons a monster with 1500 or more attack, destroy the monster, and if you do, you banish it. So this goes against the Fallen of Albaz. So if they bring Fallen of Albaz to try to link off your, or to try to fusion summon off using your Sarah to go into their Mirror Jade, you just Bottomless Trap Hole their Fallen of Albaz, and then they're pretty much done with that play. And then here we got the we got the Nightmare. A very nice card. It's pretty much just like it's pretty much a negate, and if you do destroy that card, whatever card that was special summoned, so it's very nice. Here we have Time Space. Time Space is nice because it says when your opponent special summons a monster from the hand or extra deck, you can shuffle that into the deck, and then you lose 1,000. So again, if you're going against Mirror Jade, you're able to shuffle it back into the deck without triggering its blow up trigger effect, and then you only lose 1,000. And then we got 2 copies of Floodgate Trap Hole, one of the best trap holes. That's why I'm running at 2. It's pretty much a permanent Book of Moon. You know, if you're playing against branded, then you know it is what it is. You can't really do nothing about that, just because they're able to use face down cards as fusion material. You know, but again, hey, it is what it is. Evenly Matched. I'm playing 3 copies of Evenly Matched. It's a normal trap, so it's able to trigger. You're able to use it off of your Hoatea. But also, if you go in second, it's a board breaker. So why not? For sure, this is a mandatory card in this deck. 3 copies of Imperm, another mandatory card. It's a normal trap, so it triggers Sarah's effect to summon, which is nice. So yeah, another mandatory. Here got 2 copies of a Gravedigger Trap Hole. Some people play it at 1, some people play it at 3. You won't find any fighting with me on either. I can understand playing it at 1. I can understand playing it at 3. Me personally, I played at 2, just in case you draw 1. Hopefully, you'll still have the other in your deck to be able to use off of Traptrix Rafflesia. And then it burns you for 2k, which is actually really nice. I've burned a couple of people for game because they just forgot that Gravedigger was a thing. And then you got 1 copy of Terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare. Very nice card. So basically it says if your opponent special summon a monster this turn, target 1 monster your opponent controls 2,000 more attack, destroy it. Then if you have a normal hold in a trap at the grave, you can banish 1 monster from your opponent's graveyard. So that part right there, you could actually hit anything in the graveyard, which is very nice. So yeah, only 1 copy. It's searchable. You use it off for Rafflesia. But yeah, very nice card. Then I got 3 copies of Traptrix Hoatea. One of the best cards in the deck. Definitely made the deck extremely more powerful than what it was. So basically, you can activate this card the turn it was set by discarding a normal trap, which is very nice. You can pretty much flip it. You can send Imperm, you can send Evenly Matched. Any normal trap procs that effect to special summon. And then when it's special summoned, it's 400 attack, 2400 defense. and then is no longer treated as a trap, so it is a monster at that point. And then if this card's in the graveyard, you can special summon a Traptrix monster from the graveyard by banishing Hotea. The unfortunate part is that you can't use both effects during the same turn, so you got to keep that in mind while you're playing the game. And then lastly, I got 2 copies of Solemn Judgment. You could definitely up it to 3, but I kind of want to just play around with it at 2. Again, just because we're in Master Duel, there's a reason I'm main decking this card. Because in real life, you would prefer to side this deck, which is what I do in real life. This is more so of a side deck card. It's insane. But within Master Duel, we only play 1 match. So there you go. That's my reasoning for playing just 2. Again, you could play 3, maybe take out an Arachnid Camp, or even take out maybe a Lightning Storm, or maybe maybe take out maybe 1 evenly, whatever. But for me right now, this is the list. Kind of what I really like. Let's go on to the extra deck. Here we got Evil Storm Exciton Knight. This is a decent card. It pretty much just blows up your opponent's board. So it says once per chain during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase. If your opponent has more total cards in their hand and field than you do, quick effect, you detach material from this card. Destroy all other cards on the field. Also, your opponent takes no further damage this turn. So it's very, very nice. It's pretty much like a mini Zeus. Here we got 2 copies of Traptrix Rafflesia. Some people play it at 3. I've seen some people play her at 1. I just like her at 2. A very, very nice card. So basically what the card does is it's unaffected by trap effects while it has material, and the Traptrix monsters that you control, except herself, cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And then also your opponent cannot target Traptrix monsters you control except Rafflesia with card effects. So you can do whatever you want to Rafflesia, you just can't harm the other Traptrix. Very, very nice. And then it has a once per turn quick effect. You can detach material from this card and send 1 whole normal trap that meets the activation conditions from your deck to the graveyard. This effect becomes that trap card's effect when that card is activated. So basically, this effect is a once per turn per copy, or a soft once per turn. So if you're able to bring out 2 Rafflesia onto the field, you're able to activate both of the effects. You can activate the effect twice that turn because you control 2 Rafflesia. Great card. Again, you can play it at 1, 2, or 3. To each his own. Here we got Baguska, pretty much for branded stuff, and just if all you could do is make a rank 4, you can just go into Baguska and just shut your opponent off for a couple of turns, and try to gain some kind of advantage that way. Then we got 1 copy of Time Thief for Doer. Really, really great card for the deck. And when you're gonna make Redoer, make sure you use Traptrix Hotea as material, because as you could see, if you detach a trap, you can place 1 face-up card your opponent controls to the top of the deck. So basically, you can guarantee what your opponent is going to draw the following turn. So really, really nice. Just also keep in mind that Time Thief Redoer can be Ash Blossomed. Pretty much because within the effect, it says once per turn during the standby phase, you can detach the top card of your opponent's deck. Oh no, that's the standby phase effect. The quick effect is you can detach up to 3 different types of material from this card, then apply the following effect depending on what was detached. A monster you banish, and then a spell you draw a card. So the reason it can get ashed is because the effect you choose on resolution of the card. So because you choose on resolution, it can be Ash Blossomed. So yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, but again, it is what it is. But it's a great card nonetheless. Alright, here we got 1 copy of Alamaris. Again, a generic rank 4, a very nice card. You can detach some material from this card, especially someone level 4 or lower insect monster from the graveyard. So very nice to put on more bodies, or to be able to use cards that have multiple effects when they're special summoned, like Myrmelio, targeting a back row. You could you could use that again. in the same turn. And then it also has another effect, which is actually really cool. If your opponent's monster leaves the field because of your card effect and is now in the graveyard banished, you can detach one material from this card, then target one of them and special summon it. Now that plays very nicely into Putica. Remember, Putica's effect: if this card is special summoned, you could target one special summon monster your opponent controls and banish it during the next, and then also during next standby they can bring it back. Now, if you use the Putica to target banish their card while you have Alamaris on the field, you're going to be able to detach a material from Alamaris and grab whatever monster that Putica just banished and special summon it to your field. So if you end up doing that to a really strong monster and potentially go for an OTK, that's another way to do it. There are some people that actually don't even know that. So keep that in mind as you're playing. Then we got 2 copies of Pingu. So basically what this card does is when you summon it, you can activate the effect to detach and then add a Traptrix monster from deck to hand. And then also if your opponent's monster is owned, is sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you can attach one of those monsters. So basically you can steal, which is very nice. Then here we got the 1 copy of Zeus. Everybody knows what Zeus does. Here we got 3 copies of Traptrix Sarah, one of the best Link ones in the game, period. You can use both effects in the same turn, which is absolutely insane. But basically, this card is unaffected by trap effects. And then, so it says if your normal trap is activated, you can special summon a Traptrix monster from the deck with a different name than the ones that you control, which is very cool. So you can use it off of Impermanence, which is very nice. And then also, if your Traptrix monster effect is activated, you can set a whole normal trap directly from the deck. So very nice. Definitely a 3 of. Some people do play it at 2, but not me. I like it at 3. Here we got Traptrix Coolaria. Very nice for the grind game. So basically, it's a Link 2. You go into it, and then it has a couple effects where if you activate a whole normal trap, you can actually just set it rather than sending it to the grave. So that's actually really nice to be able to keep a card. And then also it has an end phase effect where you can target a Traptrix monster in your graveyard and then you can special summon it in defense position. So very nice to be able to use, again, a Myrmelio effect. Or if you decide to go for a Diane, you can Diane target a different whole trap in the grave and set that. So this card is definitely nice in the grind game. Very nice. But if you happen to go Putic, if you happen to get Prosperity, typically this is a Prosperity target. Here we got Traptrix Adipus. This is your OTK card. If you have a normal trap in the grave, all Traptrix monsters gain 1,000 attack, which is really nice. Then it has another effect where you could target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of plant monsters you control, plant or insect monsters you control. You're able to negate those effects, and then if you decide to banish your normal trap in the grave, you can destroy it. You can destroy only one of them though. But very nice. Cool little board breaker, but also an OTKer. Definitely want to keep that. You could play more if you want, but for me right now I'm only playing 1. Then we got Access Code Talker. Super easy to go into. Typically you go into Adipus, negate a card, destroy one by banishing. Then you can go into Access Code, use her in another body. And then you can non-target, go to 53, and then you can non-target pop any card your opponent controls by banishing herself, or even a lot of the time you're banishing Sarah because it's already in the grave. But yeah, I guess that's it, guys. That is my deck profile for Traptrix. Let me know if you guys want to see some gameplay or even some combo lines. I'm very proficient with the deck. I love this deck, so much fun, and I really hope that you guys build either something similar, or if you want to build the exact same deck, let me know how good the deck is treating you guys. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.